I'm here to tell you today that working on your inside is way more important than working on your outside. In other words, dealing with the things that drive you, the program that runs you is so much more important than working on tips and tricks, trying to gain more money or gain more status or gain more fame or make yourself look more beautiful on the outside. Those things have some value, but until you fix the program inside of you, no matter what you do externally, it's not going to totally make a difference in who you are and how you interact with other people. You'll be able to get to a certain level, maybe with success, using methods, using tricks, using new habits. But until you actually change the driving force that is what is inside, that's the program that's based on the patterns that you've developed over many years from the messages that you've received and have internalized, until those things change, you're not really going to have the satisfaction, the joy, and be able to relax into your life as you really want it. So I came into this discovery as I was going through a hard time in my life and trying to improve myself. And I was going after things that would help me understand technique, help me to understand social dynamics and better ways of dealing with people. The kind of things that you might learn if you go to counseling, where you talk to a counselor and they give you certain, exercises or homework, or they talk to you about the proper way to communicate and these little methods that you can use to listen to people better so that you'll improve your communication skills and things like that. But it isn't until you actually change the programming inside yourself that those things become more natural. And that's what happened. Is I started to discover that in many cases where I was seeking some way of improving myself through some techniques, that invariably the coaches that were teaching these techniques also included some self-hypnosis program that was to help program the person's mind while they're asleep, or what they listen to even during the day, that would help to redirect the way they think and kind of reprogram their unconscious mind. So that's when I started going into hypnotherapy to try and understand what that was all about. And the more I uncovered, the more I realized that our brains are kind of like computers, and every computer has to run a program in order to function, to provide any output that is useful. It has to run some type of program. And that's actually what is happening in the brain. And that program that you run is essentially what you grew up with, what you learned, the patterns that you developed over time as you were growing up. And usually those patterns get set into motion by the time you're 6 years old. Anything before 6 years old, the things that you absorbed up until the age of 6, is basically what then ends up running your life from then on. And there's traumas that can occur after that age. But a lot of times, anything that occurs after that age, even if there's some later trauma in life, it typically triggers something that actually happens when you were smaller, like before the age of 6. And it draws on those patterns and those emotions and then maybe amplifies them. So if you can work through the emotions and the patterns that got set when you were a child, you can actually debug the program that's causing you to react to things in ways that you really don't want to. And so that's why I talk about this kind of stuff on this channel, is these letting go techniques, the tapping technique. It basically helps you to work through the association between the emotion and the memory. With every memory, you'll either have a neutral emotion or some kind of either a very happy or a very negative emotion. So very positive, very negative emotion attached to each one of the memories in your life. And the thing is that the memories that will stand out, that will come to mind most frequently, or the ones that actually you go back to, will either be memories where there was something really good that happened and it just stands out to you, or something that was very negative. And usually the negative ones are the ones that stick with us the most, because there was some kind of pain associated with it, emotional pain that we want to avoid. And so those are the ones that stick with us the most. So it's detaching that emotion that causes that memory to stick in your mind so much from the actual memory itself that these exercises help you to do. And as you release the attachment of that emotion to the memory, then the memory just becomes like, it's like watching something on TV, or it becomes like a memory of somebody else's story, because it no longer has that emotional energy to it that it had prior to you working through it. And when that happens, when the emotion dissolves that's associated with that memory, the memory then doesn't bring up this clenching feeling in your gut or in your chest. And when there were things that cause you to react because of that association with that memory and that emotion, those things don't cause that reaction anymore. And that's the beauty of working through these different emotions through these techniques that I'm providing, is that you can let go of them, let go of these patterns, and over time, they just don't control you anymore. And when they don't control you, then you feel free. And that freedom is what gives you joy in life. The ability to just go through life without feeling that cringe, or feeling that clenching, or feeling that resistance. And things just flow. Things feel smooth. Things feel just liberated, to where you can be what you want to be and do what you want to do without the limitations that you were living under before. So this is why I talk about this stuff. And maybe it does something for you. Maybe it doesn't. But now you know why. And I'll continue to make these videos as long as I'm inspired to do so. That's it for today. Ciao.